I got another question for Syl. We've been talking about Zack Snyder. I know you're a big Zack Snyder fan as well. So I want to know, what is your favorite Zack Snyder movie? What got you into that man's work?
Good question there. So I'm going to answer first what got me into it. Everyone knows Zack Snyder for 300. So let's just start there. Right? Everyone knows universally. No one can front on his pop culture status when it comes to that film. Once I saw that film, and then hearing he's going to do a DC and Watchmen, was ahead of his time. I really didn't get what, because I didn't actually read that graphic novel until I saw Zack Snyder's film. Then I went back and read the, and so it didn't really click with me all the way yet, because I didn't understand the nuances. Now I do. I mean, Watchmen is crazy, but
I still haven't read the graphic novel. I still haven't read it.
I think Zack enhanced it a little bit.
What I'm waiting for, here's the thing. I'm waiting for the real cut, because I think there's the one that was screened on the it was screened on the Epic Worlds of Zack Snyder. Was that instead of the extended? Is the I think it's like 3 cuts or something.
I've only known that there's 2 cuts of the movie that are out. I didn't even know that there was a 3rd cut.
I think there is a 3rd one. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think there is. But either way, I haven't read the. I did watch Watchmen on theaters last year, because right here in Boston, there's a theater in Brookline, Mass, that every weekend they'll play classic movies, and they actually played Watchmen, and I'd never seen Watchmen in theaters before, so that was my chance to see it. And I also saw 300. It was just coincidence. It was just both movies. So 300 I didn't see in theaters, but Watchmen, that was a, and I actually
in that climate,
and I actually won this in the theater. Contest. I won a contest.
With me, it was like steps. You know what I mean? I remember when the first movie, I never heard of the guy before, but this was back when I started like kind of giving like the zombie genre a chance. I really wasn't into it. And then, Dawn of the Dead came out, and he had this intro. Basically, he said, hi, I'm Zack Snyder, blah, 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 blah. And I'd like to introduce you to Dawn of the Dead. He goes into kind of this little brief, thing about it at the beginning. And then, it came on. And immediately what I was struck by was the visuals. Right off the bat. I was just like, wow, this is actually pretty slick. And then you start getting into the story, and I'm just like, felt myself being drawn in. And that was the way it was for me when I started getting into his work. I was like, I never heard of this guy before. That was actually a pretty good zombie movie. And that was it. And then I started fast forward, the trailers for 300 started coming out. And then I found out that it was by him again. That kind of made me sit up like, really? Went to the movies to see that. And I was just like, every frame was like a work of art, like a moving work of art. It was beautiful. I was just like, this is not just like a regular, swords and sandals film. He actually took the colors and the color grading and the shades from the comic book and put them in the movie. And I was just like, damn. Yeah. Then I saw Watchmen. And I was sat up some more, and I was just like, same dude. I was just like, is he gonna be the guy to run DC now? Who is this guy? And I was like, that movie was dope. Watched it over and over again after that, right? Rorschach, my favorite character, and that whole joint that's my dude right there.
Yeah.
Wife to watch.
And then I saw the first 19 minutes of Man of Steel on Krypton. And he had me sold 2 ways. One, my favorite comic book director, period. He got me after that. And 2, he made me like Superman. I mean, he made me really like Superman. As Superman, I didn't hate him as a character, but I always thought he was boring, like everybody else did. He was one-dimensional. He was just, his story didn't, unfold the way that it should. Like say, even like Batman's story. Batman had all these layers to his stories being told, and Kal-El has not. And he was the first one to do that. After that 19-20 minutes, man, that was it. I was like,
Oh,
That's the guy.
That Krypton scene, that opening scene, you know, Russell Crowe, Michael Shannon. We never seen nothing, and we haven't seen nothing like it since. That Krypton opening
that version of Krypton, we've never seen Krypton like that in film.
Never.
I had to explain that to somebody the other day. They were mentioning, things being shown on film, and they said, James Gunn introduced a Krypton that was, or a Fortress of Solitude that was never done on film, and I was just like, I was like, I don't think so, because the robots are just standard robots. If you look at them, right, everything is pretty standard. You got your light and your shadow, and it looked just like, it looked like obviously a better Fortress of Solitude than 78, because you have the technology and all of that. But what I tried to explain to them was this: Zack introduced. He called it liquid geo, but I know where he was going for. If anybody is into physics like me, basically Kryptonians are able to manipulate matter, all types of matter, using whatever resources they do. They're everything that you see on Krypton is not built; it's grown, it's organic, it's bioorganic technology. That has never been done before.
Even the Kryptonians themselves are grown.
They're grown. Everything is grown. Their weapons are grown. The fuel to fire those weapons, that's all grown, and they're able to manipulate matter that way. That's the difference. That's what's never been done before. And when I saw that, I was just like, he's the man right there. Give him what he needs to run this shit. Yeah.
So watching Man of Steel, and again, realizing this is the 300 guy, this is the Watchmen guy, Zack Snyder. I'm like, okay, this is the best Superman experience I've ever had, my lifetime, right? And so to go online and see how people was like, oh, not my Superman, and all this stuff. It's like, that's when Facebook was getting crazy back in the day. But to answer the question as far as what's my favorite Zack Snyder, I had like a 1A, 1B type thing. Obviously the Snyder cut, because just the journey of getting that film, was such a journey. And we had, we did it was a trending event. Snyder Queen, she was a part of it on Twitter, and other people was very active. Aaron was tweeting about the Snyder cut as far as the anniversary, right? And I was like, man,
you're talking about this anniversary? Sorry,
Snyder cut, yeah.
This anniversary being right?
Yeah. This recent one,
okay,
right? Everyone was tweeting about it, and it's like, I was like, man, like 4 hours, like just the epic moments in that. I was like, man, is this my favorite Zack Snyder film? Because it has everything, right? But then we had BVS Day.
Of course, that had to happen.
Because I did a thread for the Snyder cut. I was doing a watch along, and then I was clipping parts of it. And it was like, I remember this and this quotable, and this is great. Like the Snyder cut. 4 hours goes by just like that. You Zack juggled an ensemble cast, right?
The pacing of that movie is just phenomenal. How quick it goes by. Yeah,
4 hours, right? Crazy. But the BVS though, I'm ready to just I ended.
How many times did you watch? How many times did you watch BVS in theaters?
9 times.
Wow.
I was there.
Whoa. I remember when he said that. He said that on the stream. He said how many times he watched it.
I don't remember that one, but
I watched it twice a week. I saw opening night, and then I went back twice a week, like until I hit 9.
Wow.
Watch out to Mr. J in the chat.
Jay.
That's the homie. But so, and I remember like just how we talking about we never seen stuff before, like as far as Watchmen and stuff. You never seen DC like this with BVS. No. The dialogue, and you want to talk about just this is Dark Knight Returns Batman. This is Bruce Wayne running to the debris in the beginning, like he's without the suit. He's Batman without the suit.
Right? Without the suit.
It's amazing. And the fact that Zack overlaid the end of Man of Steel with the beginning of BVS, that's another thing. And then the whole first act is setting up like this epic like play in my mind with BVS, where it's like, okay, when they gonna fight? I know they're gonna fight, but how's he setting this up, right? And so it levels up like crazy. Again, Chris Terrio did the
you called it right when you called it a play. You called it right there. That was Shakespearean, man. Yes, exactly.
The third act. You get to the third act. I'm sitting up, and I did another watch along for BVS Day, and I'm clipping stuff. But what's different with that and Snyder Cut, like for BVS, I'm doing like 2 quotes per scene. Like I'm like, no, this was dope. Then this was dope.
Have you ever seen those videos online where they're literally playing Man of Steel, the ending of Man of Steel, all the destruction, and the beginning of BVS, and it's literally matched up. It's absolutely perfect. Crazy. The fact that Zack is able to pull that off is what just.
He's a madman. Zack is a visual madman, right? And so he does that. And this is all before you get to the third act. Then you get, well, first you get just again crazy quotables, where Bruce like, I'm older than my father ever was. I'm like, you're killing me with this dialogue, bro. Y'all eating this up, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then third act, you get Batman versus Superman. You get the fight. You get the Wonder Woman entrance. You get Doomsday. You get the Batman warehouse scene. You get the death of Superman.
The death of Superman,
yep. Yeah. All in one act.
One act.
Crazy. Right. And it's all like this is the greatest CBM I ever saw. BBS is the greatest. Nothing matches it to me. I mean, people gonna have your favorites and stuff like I like, Infinity War. Like that's a good CBM film. Spider-Man 2 with Doc Ock. That's a great film.
That's like
great film. Love that one.
That's the
Those
one.
All great films. I've never felt the way I felt third act of BVS with any other CBM.
That's it.
I probably never will. You can't match just the crazy concoction right there. I don't think we'll ever see anything like that again.
Oh yeah,
that was
his story.
Yeah, that was definitely it had it all, man. It had that drama, it had that tragedy, it had it all the way to the very end, man. And it was just like wow. And then once you heard that Zack Snyder's Justice League was coming out, you're just like, come on, bro. Let's go and finish this off. Yep. And the first time I heard Steppenwolf speak, talking about they're a primitive species, unevolved in that war with one another, two separate to be one. I was done. I was like, that right there, that is some dialogue right there. Right there.
That's my type of DC, bro. Like that's that's the bar.
Dope.
And this is probably why I don't take other people's approach on DC like I don't try to be too hard on anyone that's going to try because you're never going to match that bar.
It was set too high. It was set way too high.
He did. He set it high on purpose, bro. He was just like, watch this. And he was like, if y'all don't understand it, and this is him with the execs. If y'all don't get it, y'all don't get it. I'm leaving y'all behind. But this is it right here. You want your universe to take off and be separate from the rest? Do it this way. Do it like this.
Ahead of his time.
Ahead of his time.
All right.
Zack has always been ahead of his time, even right now with Rebel Moon. Everything that he's got he's always been ahead of. Hence why he's gotten so much shit from Hollywood and all the fucking crazy people. Because again, the man has always been ahead.
Yeah.
Nolan has always been ahead. Hence why those two guys.
That's why no one picked him.
Thank you, Syl.
And for those again who are listening, listen very carefully. The man directed. Okay, the idea of how he wanted to fashion that film visually was all him, but the brainchild, that's Chris Nolan. So please believe that. And David S. Goyer, they came up with that. That was their writing in that film. All right. And Zack was like, I'm following this as close as I possibly can to down to a science. And he did that. Okay. So please believe when you dissing Snyder, you dissing Nolan.
Yep.
It is what it is.
You can't
diss Nolan. So
or out Nolan. Because somebody tried to out Nolan.
I got one more question.
Fans just made up with me, man. I don't want to fight them like that.
I got one more question. I'm going to throw Syl's way, and then we can get going on the rest of the topics. Syl, your channel, dude. Let us know. What do you got coming up? What do you want to plug? You got, you've been doing this YouTube game for a long time, so let us know what you got coming up with your channel.
Yeah. So I was in YouTube jail for a few months. So
they got him. They got him, boy. It was like, gotcha.
we got that cleaned up. just in time for the promotion of this Superman film by James Gunn. We're gonna see how that's gonna perform. And as far as on my platform, if people aren't familiar with it, of course, it's at Syl Abdul Pod on YouTube. That's the main channel.
Yep, we'll have all your links in the description.
Yeah, I have the whole Geek Network where I kind of branch off. Like I do have specialized channel for like some Marvel stuff, and I have a Superman channel.
I saw that. You got one that's just dedicated for Superman. That's really cool.
Oh man, that's really taken off last summer during the behind the scenes, and I was like, let me see what they're doing with this film. Because again, I told you where my bar is at, so everything else is kind of just for fun. It's like, okay, let's just see what you do. You know, they give you a couple million. What you gonna do with your Superman? And that channel's taking off pretty good. So I was like, any latest reports, I'll throw it over there. But on the main channel, it starts with DC. And it starts with, and I always talk about it's the business behind it. I think that's one unique thing I've done in this space, not just being a Snyder fan, not just, a DC fan, but I looked into like the transactions right in the middle of when Warner Brothers and Discovery merged.
Exactly. You talk about all that stuff, man. The stocks you talk about, absolutely. You go real deep into the business behind it. So
at that time when I started doing that, late great Mikey Sutton, he helped me a lot.
May rest in peace.
Launching
rest in peace.
That, and he was talking about what he was hearing with Hamada, and they're gonna get fired. That's
Hamada burgers and tofu fries and asparagus.
You know what I mean? So it was really a cool time, and I really think I did something pretty unique right there. Where again, you talk about the business behind it, and we're still geeks, and we're still looking forward to this stuff. I look into the box office and everything as well too, and so that's become like the core of my channel. And so that's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be a lot of summer films, but again, it starts with DC, for better or worse. What they gonna do? What they got? Sink or swim. We're gonna cover it, and then like I said, just other things of interest. Like along the way, there were some viewers on my channel. They like the aliens, Romulus, so I did like some breakdowns with that.
We covered that too.
Yeah, and like I said, if something's popping with Marvel, like I think Doomsday, I think they're gonna crush it. Marvel is gonna crush it with that. So like popular stuff, we talk about it as well. So just anytime you tune on my channel, it starts with DC and the business, but then just whatever's popular, we kind of chop it up. Like I have a very interesting video on the channel now where and we may get into this. My thoughts on that Superman preview. And like I said, we'll get to that when I want to, but I got mixed feelings right about that preview.
I think I saw your video. You seem pretty happy you didn't have to go see Minecraft.
That's one of the things we don't talk about. So yeah, we want you to hang around for that for sure.
So I had a lot of fun with that, though. And that's the main thing on my channel, man. It is about having fun. I mean, having my channel, y'all content creators and any other content creators, y'all imagine if they're like, the time you put into your channel, we're not gonna pay you for it. And it's like that kind of sucked for a few months, kind of zapped the joy a little bit. But now we back. We back. So I've been pretty free from this past couple
we've been dealing with something similar as well. So
it's not fun.
Rox and I, we've been fucking trying to.
And it's like, and again, it's like when I started my channel, it was. I mean, I wasn't getting paid then. It was about the passion and the Snyder Cut's about
exactly.
And then when you kind of build your channel up, you're just like, hey, you're putting a lot of time, and it's like a slap in the face when they try to demonetize you. But now that's kind of that's lifted now. And we still got the passion, but now we're getting paid for it again. So
good times over there. Get paid with what you like.
Pay you for your passion. That's all right.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yes, sir.
By the way, did you remember these days? Bourbon
streams.
Story time.
Yeah, the team behind that. If y'all realize, like, first of all, me and Mikey Sutton, the Rogues Gallery, like that was a time when all Snyder fans, DC fans, it was appointment television, those shows, because it was right at the cusp of, again, Emmerich about to get fired, Hamada, Cavill's coming back.
We were together, bro. Yeah, we were together, man.
Crazy, like rarefied air, and like I never discount that. Like obviously, like I said, the help that Mikey Sutton gave me, but his team, and I'm still in touch with a lot of them now. That the Bourbon stream, like the voiceover, shout to Clint Black. He's the voice behind all that, and he's a voice impression guy. The Scoop Center was just insane, and so it was just a crazy time. And then James Gunn got hired, and
and it's just, we go.
The rest is history.
Oh boy!
And then James Gunn got hired.
Wonk wonk.
Womp womp.